From Field Pass Hockey Southern Command, this is the Inside the SPHL podcast. Here is your host, James Hayes.
Welcome to this week's episode of Inside the SPHL. Thank you all for listening for another week and dealing with all my bull crap. I know it's no fun, but you know, you come here because I bring guests on. I always say that all the time. We have established that. It's a good relationship. This week's episode is going to go a little bit later. It's dropping on Friday, as you guys have all noticed, as opposed to the normal Wednesday drop. And that's just we're just switching a few things up this week. Nothing. Got to keep you on your toes. You know, keep you wanting it. You know, you got to ask the questions. But anyways, let me get rid of all that and let's start talking about what we got this week. So I got two people this week. You know, it's been a while since I've had multiple guests on. We're really going to test my interviewing skills this week. But my guests this week, they're members of the Macon Mayhem. They're both returning guests. One of them first year with the Mayhem. Another one, he's been a staple with the Mayhem for a while. You guys will all know him pretty well, and I'm positive you guys know the other guy. But so without further ado, instead of me just teasing you, let me bring on Caleb Cameron and David Nippard. Boys, how's it going?
I'm still fired up from that music.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
that's like a pre-game, like in the dressing room type.
I'm gonna have to leave you guys. I can't hear anything for some reason. Swear to God.
blew your eardrums out, huh? I got to thank Matthew Harding for that intro. He created it for me when we started doing this last year, and I guess he was serious. He really did have to leave. I guess we did blow his eardrums out.
He'll hopefully he gets back there.
He'll be back.
Yeah,
he'll be back.
He lives in Dublin. They have terrible internet service there. So.
Oh, I gotcha. There we go. Let's see. Is he back? Give me the thumbs up if you're back. All right. I didn't want to bring you on if you weren't ready.
Okay, so craziest thing, you were like super slow-mo, like sounded like you were like the Hulk. It was weird, but it was kind of cool.
Me?
I was into it. No,
I was
James. I couldn't hear you at all. James was literally like the Hulk, like super deep voice, like super slow-mo, and I was like, all right, this has got to be something's going on.
Yeah, this is different than the last time I came on.
I think you introduced us, so happy to be here.
Yeah.
To be on, so yeah, it's super excited.
Good deal. Yeah, I was saying that I was thanking Matthew Harding for the intro because Nippard really liked it, and he's the one that created all that for me last year when we got this all going. And
wait till you go back and hear it, Cam. Like I was fired up. Like
yeah.
It's a good thing the camera wasn't on.
I was like, it was full visual effects, but the audio was not there, and I was like, all right, something's up.
Oh well, we get the technical difficulties out of the way on right off the bat, and I'm definitely not editing this out because this was good. So everybody gets to see this.
That's fine.
That's great.
But I usually only have to edit myself out once in a while. I'll say a couple of words I'm not supposed to say, but
that's all right.
Anyways, like I said, thank you guys so much for coming on. As everybody knows, you guys are both Mayhem members, and the teams. You know, you guys have had some ups and downs this year, and kind of let's start with that. I mean, it seems like a roller coaster in Macon. You know, over the past few years, you've been a part of it for a while, Cam, and you're experiencing it for the first time. But this season, it seems like you guys, you know, and we've talked a little bit about this before. You guys are in these games, and it's not really a matter of, you know, you guys are getting blown out. Last year, we seen a lot of games between really the three bottom teams in the league where they were just getting absolutely destroyed, and they were never in it. But that's not the case with you guys. I mean, kind of, I guess, whichever one of you wants to take lead on the question, just kind of tell me how this season's been going for you guys and what you guys feel about it.
Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, so I just think when you look at the league in general this year, there's way more parity. You know, I think teams on every given night, you know, anyone could win. You know, when it comes to us and, you know, as a group in Macon, you know, I think we found ways to lose games for ourselves. I think we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot, but the skill is there, the talent, everything like that. Really what it comes down to on any given night is the work ethic and the effort. You know, and I think if we can put together a full 60 minutes, we're a team that can compete with, you know, number one team in the league, whoever it may be that night. You know, it's really just all about us bringing it that night. But like I said, the parity in the league this year is better than it's been in a lot of, recent years. And, like you said, me being in Macon for the past however many years, it's been tough, but I do think what, coaches brought to the table this year is everyone can play. It doesn't matter whether, you're on the, third line or whatever, if you're in the stands or whatever, it's whoever is going to be, the best option for that night to give us the best chance to win. So I think that's where we're looking every single night and working forward as we progress throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off that, it's there was a lot of moving parts at the beginning of the year. Guys coming and going, trying to figure out who fits, who doesn't fit. Obviously, a couple call-ups. As the year goes on, guys get called up and return. And injuries, obviously, they play a big role. But no, like Cam said, and like you said, James, like we're in every game. I think the only game we got shut out this year was season opener.
Yeah, Huntsville 4-0.
I believe. Yeah. So, and like Cam said, every team is tight this year. In the seasons past, we've had the bottom dwellers, we'll say, but it's as the year progresses, there's going to be some changes, and it's very easy to claw back as things start to progress. So it's there's a lot of moving parts, but there's a lot to look forward to as well.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me about the listeners of the show know that you guys' head coach Nick Nippard was on the podcast before the season got going, and it was a great interview. I mean, he came in, he kind of a no bullshit mentality is kind of what I got from it. Is when I asked him what he was going to do, is he was going to say you're either going to do it or you're not. Is kind of the gist of it. That's me, the cliff notes of it, anyways. I mean it shows. I mean, there's been a little bit of roster turnover, but nothing big. I mean, you've seen there's been some players that maybe decided they weren't going to go, that the playing in Macon wasn't their style, and they're playing somewhere else. No big deal. It happens. But so I guess give me how you guys feel about this, the first couple of months under this new regime with Nick Nippard. It seems like he brings energy is my idea. So tell me how you guys kind of view the season or playing for him a couple months in.
Yeah, I think like you said, it's the no BS, right? You either buy in or you get out. And I think the guys that are here right now, that coaches brought in and made the moves to get these guys, they're all bought in, and I think you will start to see the more we get into the season, the more chemistry. You got to remember, new coach coming into a season. I honestly was talking to someone about this the other day, but we've actually had a new coach every season that I've played in Macon. So when you look at it that way, it's like, you haven't been able to build the building blocks to move it into the next season. So you start fresh every season. That's going to take a little bit of time to progress as you go. But I think, what are we, 13 games in now? I think you'll start to see us build and build and build. And we'll limit those mistakes that we are making that are shooting ourselves in the foot, and we'll start to limit those. And I think you'll start to see closer games and us really start to maybe take over a little more.
Yeah, I think, given Coach Nippard's story and you had him on earlier in the summer, you said, he's been in several different dressing rooms, coached by several different coaches. So he sees the game from various views and various aspects than most guys, That being said, we have this thing, it's called FIFO, and it's fit in or frig off.
Yeah.
And it goes, it's not like just with the boys or anything. It's systems. You can't fit in with the system. If you can't fit in with our gameplay, like you're going to have to go elsewhere, or that's just the way it is. And we, like I said, a lot of moving parts, taking some pieces of the puzzle, moving them around and trying to see what fit. And like Cam said, we're moving in the right direction. We took last weekend, I think we took 3 points, 3 to 4 on the weekend, or previous weekend, sorry. And then obviously we dropped the game to Birmingham, and going into this weekend, we have two very familiar teams that we obviously have battled against so far, and we've been successful. So, with that being said, it's we're going to be moving in the right direction, and Coach Niedert's definitely he set the groundwork very, very early for us. So it's been very, very good.
It seems like I don't know that anybody expected it. Definitely Macon fans. If I've learned anything since I started doing this podcast, it seems like Macon fans are very well in tune with their team. I mean, I'm not taking away from any other fan base, but nobody had the expectations of you guys being 13-0 right now, and with a new coach and like you said, Cam, earlier. I mean, different coaches every year. It's tough for a system. So I think everybody's the outlook from the fan base is things are getting better and so I mean everything you guys are saying, it seems like it's reflecting on the ice, even the games that I don't watch, because believe it or not, I can't watch every single game every weekend, even though I try. but no, I definitely. I mean, so I guess in another question I got. So with all there's been some roster changes here and there throughout the year. But out of all the players that have kind of the new faces on the team that have come through, who would you say, and this is kind of a dumb question, I know, but who would you say kind of stands out the most to you guys that's kind of just stepped in and you were like, yeah, we really needed that? Is there anybody out there that and you, I mean, you guys, you can't say Nippard, that doesn't count. You can't use him. He's been on the team since the season started. So.
No. Hey. No. I'm just here for support. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go first on this one. I think there's really two guys that kind of stand out for me. I think on every hockey team, you need a pure goal scorer. And, from that standpoint, I would say CJ Hayes, a boy that played in Birmingham last year.
Yeah.
We're doing laundry back here, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Hazy's one of those guys that he has that goal scoring touch. And when you need a goal, he's that guy that, you're leaning on, whether it be on a 2-on-1, 5-on-5, whatever it may be, power play. He's the guy that you lean on. Another guy that, really, surprised me right from the get-go. When you look at him, you don't see the finesse and the puck handling skills like he has, but Rhett Kingston, we got him through a trade from Fayetteville. And I mean, the way he possesses the puck, and his, how he maneuvers around the ice is just unbelievable. And that's a guy that, is definitely going to go places. And, it's one of those things where it's not what you're expecting. So it's that much, that much more to us. So.
And I don't think there's anybody else that looks on the team more like a hockey player than Rhett Kingston. I mean, he looks like he should be on the Slapshot movie. I mean, he's
I'm
straight from the farm.
I'm saying nothing good about that guy.
No,
nothing good about that
nothing good.
I'm kidding. He's salt of the earth. But with me, I have to agree. I mean, CJ Hayes is CJ Hayes. You know what you're going to get. The guy works his tail off, and like Cam said, he's got that scoring touch. Somebody else, my roommate actually, Tommy Muticello. Obviously, he's no stranger to the SP. He's played a few games, but he's had a successful year this year. Rhett, obviously, but there's two guys in the back end. You look back there and you're like, okay, I'm safe, and that's Faulkner. Obviously, he's got this presence on the ice that I don't think it can be matched. If you go back through the videos and you watch a Roanoke video, you'll see why. And I think someone that kind of flies under the radar, but is a solid D and has an absolute rifle of a shot is Tremblay. Big, tall guy on the point. Very simple first pass type guy, but sometimes gets overlooked. But those are the guys you need. Yeah. You look back, and I mean the list goes on. You look at Jamie Dorsey just came back from Orlando, another mutant on the back end that you're
straight meat and potatoes.
Like he's a Christmas ham basically, and you're just like, like these are the guys who they get the train rolling in the back.
The guy Dorsey literally only eats spaghetti and meatballs. I don't think I've ever seen him eat anything else. So there it is, right there.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
Carbs.
Yeah, all about carbs. Yeah, that's great. And And I knew you were going to say CJ Hayes, Nippard, because I mean he's the one that fed you your first goal of the season and got that monkey off your back. So of course you were going to pick him, right?
No.
Yeah,
You know, it's funny because I live with CJ and Tommy, and they're gone out for Sushi Wednesday, so I couldn't go. You know what I mean? But hey, they're not even here to listen to this, so they don't even know what I'm saying. So it's all good.
That's good. That's good. So now I feel bad because I ruined Sushi Wednesday for you.
No. I got some food in the fridge. We're good.
But no, that was kind of that goal. You know, when he came out of the box, he was serving the penalty for somebody. I don't remember who it was because I mean that game got out of control a couple of times, and I think he was in the box for the sole purpose to get out of the box and use that crazy speed he has. And then it shocked me because he decided not to shoot, and he just stood there behind the net and had two of you guys coming up. He's like, I'll pick you.
He didn't want to pick me.
I'm a right-handed shot.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, you were even closer, and he was like, no, I'm not going to get you.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's funny looking back, and we talked about it a handful of times. Whatever, it's those are the moments. You know, it's kind of special. Cam and I play on a line together, and we're good buddies. And it just so happened that CJ Hayes was the guy that kind of passed me the puck, and we all got to celebrate and stuff. I think the cherry on top would have been to win the game. Obviously, we got into penalty trouble. We had over 100 PIMs, and lo and behold, I didn't have a single one. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on.
What was going on there? I was expecting both of you guys to be in the box a couple of times, and everybody else on both teams. I mean, I think there was 192 total combined penalty minutes, and most of them came in the last 16 minutes of the game.
Oh,
but
believe me, we played the last 5.5 minutes with 5 forwards and 3 D.
Yeah, you guys' bench was it was pretty empty. That was.
I tell you, there's a really cool photo. I should send it to you. Coach Nippard is leaning up across the bench, and I think there's one other guy in the box. So there's 3 players left and the goalie.
Yeah,
like it's the most it's the most Southern professional picture.
Oh, I've never seen anything like it since Pee Wee hockey.
It was literally. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out what was even going on there at the end. Like well, the refs were just like, "No, you're gone. You're gone. You're gone." Anybody that they think is going to say a wrong word to somebody, gone.
And you know what? Like, I don't know. I put myself in the referee's shoes, and I think when it comes to that point in the game, that's the only option you have. You know, like I think there was 5 minutes left, and or a little over 5, and it was like, okay, you can go, and we'll deal with the rest from here.
Yeah, it was something else. It was I don't know, that whole game. I was getting confused, and I'm you guys don't even have to get into this conversation, but I'm the biggest supporter of the referees because I feel like I can't do it, and so I'm always like trying to. Everybody hates the referees in every level of hockey. They say SPHL referees are the worst, but I go and get on a Avalanche blog or something, and the NHL.
That's your team,
are the worst, right?
That's your team.
Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah. So of course I got to draw. No, but I was really questioning a lot of calls in that game. There was like interference. I guess I need to really read that down because
that's true. I actually did get a 2-minute penalty for interference. I hit the guy too hard.
You did. That's right.
Yeah. There was a couple on both sides, and I was just I don't know. I felt like the referees were preparing for something long before it ever even happened, and I don't know. It was a fun game. It was probably one of the more fun games I got to witness in a while, and it all came, like you said, in about the last 6 minutes or so.
I don't know. I said to Carson Rose a couple of times on the ice, I'm like, man, it's tough playing against like former team and buddies and stuff like that. But obviously when you're on the ice, it's a game of hockey type thing. And I'll be honest, like when that whole thing was going down, I was kind of jealous. I'm like, oh man, this looks like a good time. Like,
yeah. I was looking. I remember looking over and seeing neither one of you were on the ice. I was like, oh well,
licking our chops.
Who's over there then?
Yeah, no, but you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head. It was a fun game. Obviously, high scoring. For the fans and stuff like that. I think it had a little bit of everything. Yeah. But like I said before, obviously the cherry on top would have been to take 2 points from those guys and kind of laugh going down the highway. But they have a good squad, and you can't take anything from those guys. They they are what they are. They're well coached. They have quite a good tandem, coaching tandem, goalie tandem. that rink. And I told the boys, there's a couple of them that said, what's it like to play in Birmingham? And I was like, wear your earplugs, because like it's a loud barn. So
yeah,
and it's hard to play in, but no, it had it all.
Yeah, it was something else for sure.
Yeah.
But so let's talk a little bit about how you guys got to know each other. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit. I mean, you guys obviously been playing together this year, but you guys go back further back. I mean, what was your first interaction? Was it each other's fists hitting each other's face at one point in a couple of games, or a couple of seasons ago? Or
surprisingly,
we actually
enough,
never fought.
no.
But there was a lot of John back and forth. I actually fondly remember Nips had hair, I think, down to his butt. But, other than that, it was just going back and forth. Obviously, a little friendly competition. But, when it came down to it this summer, looking at who was available and who wasn't. And at this time, at this point in time was when Zach Desjardins was still the coach. Nips hadn't been protected, and I was, talking to Zach, and I had said, that's a guy that we need. The second, obviously, Nippard took over, he was already on it. You know what I mean? Didn't even have to say anything, and he was like, yep, that guy is definitely coming to Macon. I think it took a little bit of convincing to do, because he didn't know if he was going to play again. But I think I managed to FaceTime him almost every single day for a week or two straight, just picking his, getting in his ear a little bit. And, lo and behold, he came, and, we're super thankful to have a guy that, has been in the league and, has those leadership qualities. And not only that, but, the community qualities where he's liked by everyone wherever he goes. I think that's super special and hard to come by when it comes to, these lower minor league teams, because that's how you put butts in the stands, right? It's not always just about wins. It's also just about being a good human being. And I think, I'll pump your tires here a little bit, Nips, but, that's what you look for when you're looking for a leader on a team. So we're very thankful that, he chose to come to Macon, and, I couldn't be happier to have him as a teammate and obviously as a friend. So,
tearing up here, boys. Jeez.
Yeah. How much did you pay him to say all that?
Nothing.
I wrote him in the car today too, but he didn't mention anything. But it's funny. The longer you play in these leagues, you get to know a lot of people, and even on other teams, you take not a liking, but you have a connection with a couple guys on other teams and stuff like that. And I think Cam and I kind of like had that connection right away. And yeah, we just kind of chit chat, and we didn't really, mother F each other too much on the ice, but it was just friendly chat type thing. And yeah, I just playing against each other again and again and again. And yeah, this summer it was, I think my data usage was up tremendously from FaceTiming this guy throughout the summer. So we had some really good chats, and truth be told, I couldn't be any happier coming down here. We have such a good group of guys, and I hate winter. Okay. Like I hate it. So coming down here, obviously good weather and stuff like that, was a really easy decision. And Cam and I, we sit next to each other in the room. We drive with each other to practice for, if there's an outreach thing, we do it together or whatever. Right. So it's a fun tandem to be a part of. And truth be told, I kind of try to follow Cam's footsteps. When he's here, he's been here for X amount of years, and he's a true leader, and he's fun to be around and fun to kind of look up to, in a sense,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now I had a question. I forgot it already. That's why I'm really bad at this.
Oh, it's all good. Let me ask you. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. What games are you going to watch this weekend, and what are your predictions for these games?
Oh, let me look at the schedule. Let me see. There's a lot of games this weekend. So obviously, since I write for Birmingham and Knoxville, I got to try to watch those games, even though they happen at the same time. But usually my Sunday is watching one or the other. But that's my secret. Now everybody knows it. So no.
Okay.
No. But let's see. God dang it. caught me off guard.
All right, we have Fayetteville and Pensacola. So give us
Yeah,
that
okay. Let's just
prediction.
do that. Let's
Okay.
just do that prediction. That's all we need.
Okay. See, I wasn't going to be that guy and say I was going to watch you guys' game. So Fayetteville you guys got Fayetteville first. So at home, I feel like Fayetteville's struggling this year, and you guys are finding your way. And so I think you guys get that one 3-2. I'll give you that one. And then you got Roanoke. Those are always fun games. Roanoke always puts
Pensacola.
Oh no, Birmingham's got Roanoke. Okay,
Yeah,
Pensacola.
we got
Yeah, Penn, and that's at home too. So I don't know. I think building off the steam. And people are going to say I'm saying this just because I got you guys on.
Nice, yeah.
But I don't know. I've been watching you guys enough that I feel like you're about to break out. And I think, and nothing against Fayetteville. This is why I'm never going to have a Fayetteville player on all season long now. Is because of this tournament. They're struggling pretty hard and they can't really find their way. They're catching wins here and there, but I feel like you got that one and you got that win in front of the home crowd. More people are going to show up in the seats. You guys are going to put on a show for Pensacola, and you'll beat them by 3. You get them.
All right.
That's it.
So I can't make a wager because I'm going to be on that end of it. So yeah. All right. Hey, I respect that.
Yeah. So I got that one, and then what else? Let me give you one more that's not Macon related. So let me pick a good game. I used to try to pick a good game every week that was going to be one. I think Knoxville Quad City. That's one that's going to be a good one to watch. That'll be a good one to watch. Absolutely. I think, you know what? Personal opinion here. Quad City is an absolute wagon. Yeah.
They are like, you go down the list of players and you're like, all right, like these guys can play. And correct me if I'm wrong, is Bailey Birkin back?
Yeah, I believe so. He comes back every other week, I think.
Ortiz is back. They got Mike Moran, who he's one of those guys you got to watch out for, and Cole Golka and those guys. So they're a good team, and we don't see them at all this year, do we, Cam?
We don't see them or Vermilion.
Not until the
we
playoffs.
Only see Peoria for one weekend for 3 games.
Not until the playoffs, right?
Well, hey, that's it, right? I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say anything.
No, go ahead.
No.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I mean that's I think Quad City. They started the season red hot, and then they kind of fell off a little bit, and they're just kind of they're getting. That'll be a good one too. But I did remember my other question. Now I can go back to this. So you weren't gonna play hockey maybe this year. It sounds like, and so what were you gonna do instead?
Oh man,
what were the plans?
So I'll be honest. This summer I was living in Edmonton. I think I talked to you about this.
Yeah.
Did you? I don't know if you posted that or not. So this summer I went back to school and did what's called my emergency response training. It's EMR, and with my overall goal to become a firefighter. That being said, Cam and Coach Nippard painted a really good picture, and I didn't put it on hold because I just applied for the Calgary Fire Department this month, and then November, and then in January Edmonton's opens up. So I mean, it's just one of those things, you don't know until you put your name in the hat type thing. So
that's right.
I've applied. I'm going to apply, see where it takes me. That being said, things change quite quickly. If I could stay around the game, I'd love to stay around the game. Like I said, I hate winter. If I could stay down south, I would gladly stay down south. So, you got to have a plan B and C and D, E, and F. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
I can't put all my eggs in one basket. But that's kind of where my head was at initially. But I always knew I wanted to play, and continuously play. It's
right. I don't think you ever want to get out.
You don't. And you look at a guy like Cy Nukovic, for example. Like the guy's been playing in this league, and I think he was in the CHL. And like guy like that, you can't knock the guy for playing because he's good at what he does and he loves it. And like some guys on the ice they're the first ones to chirp. But all I'll say is, we got bag skated yesterday and we had a tough practice today. And I look around on the ice after practice and I'm like, boys, I really hope you guys remember me when you're my age.
You should have seen him getting out of the car at Chipotle today. I thought he was crawling across the pavement.
asking for, can I ride on your back?
I was about to pull my dog's leash out and have to drag him across the pavement.
That's right.
Feed him his burrito.
Because the thing, as long as people keep paying you to play the game, why not keep playing it, right?
But and you know what? I'll say this: like it's we've had some times this year where it's the things like the stories and the memories you'll never ever forget, and that if I were to walk away and not come back and play, those are the things you'd miss. You know, like we had a chat the other day with Tommy and CJ and actually Kyle Soper was here, and we're just kind of, you know, just shooting the shit type thing, and the boys were they're like, what are you going to miss most about it? And I was like, this stuff. You know, you can't describe it unless, you know, somebody plays and they understand. So
because honestly, I think the same thing, like from the outside looking in, no one would know, right? They all sit there and you're like, oh yeah, play 10 more years, play, you know, or you need to start your 9 to 5. I don't know why you're still playing. We don't get to choose. You know what I mean? We're kind of led in the right direction, but it's not, we don't do this for money. I'm not doing this because I'm making millions of dollars. I'm doing this because I love the game. And, you know, for me personally, it allows me to be down here with my family. You know what I mean? So no one knows your background story. No one knows what everyone's going through on a day-to-day basis. But we come to the rink every single day to play in the Southern Pro for the Macon Mayhem because we love it and we want to be here. That's, you know, when it boils down to it, that's really what it is. So
I get mixed reviews. You know, you get some of the boys back home are like, "What are you doing, man? Like it's time." And then other people are like, "You're so lucky." And so it's like, you know, it is what it is. It's water off a duck's back. Like at the end of the day, it's me. It's not them. Right. But no, I mean, every day I go to the rink and, you know, I try to keep it loose and just tell the boys to basically cherish every moment, because every time I take my skates off, it's one less time I go on the ice. So I love it. You know, I'm glad I chose to come down, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a sense of camaraderie. You got a brotherhood. I mean, that's the way it is in sports. And I mean, you hear about it a lot. I mean, that's why they say Joe Thornton is never going to retire. I mean, that's why he played for like 40 different teams. That's what he didn't, and that's what he straight up said is exactly what you guys said. I mean, it's not necessarily what happens on the ice. It's what happened. And I mean, I've not in hockey, but I've had experiences like that where, you know, you finally time to stop doing it. And you're just like, man, I mean, I know I need to, I know this isn't for me anymore, but shit, that's going to suck. And yeah, I've been there. I've been there. So
absolutely. It's yeah. It's one of those things where we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You know?
That's right. Nobody's rushing anything, right? And I'm sure the Macon fans are not trying to rush either one of you guys out the door. So I mean, the fans are going to want you. It's just you got to keep the coach wanting you. That's
right.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's you talk about camaraderie and stuff. I think it's interesting because every team you play on, everybody says it. You know, we have the best group of guys or whatever. And you look around the room right now, and honestly, it's I don't think you could say one bad thing about anybody in the room right now. It's we have a really, really, really tight group of guys. And like I said, we have a lot of moving parts. And I think if guys weren't here to fit in, then they wouldn't be here, you know? So it's the camaraderie is there, and you can see it. We have each other's backs on the ice, off the ice, like it doesn't matter. So
well, that's awesome. That's good. I mean, I can go back and check my game notes from last week. I'm sure I wrote down some stuff that the fans were saying bad things about guys on the Mayhem, but I don't know if that's relative in this situation.
No, it's all good.
Well, no, I love hearing stuff get shouted from the stands at people, especially, you know, there was 3 former Birmingham Bulls on the ice this last weekend there in Birmingham, and it was mixed emotions. I was hearing scream from the stands. I don't know if you guys can hear. I know when I'm on the other side of the glass on the ice, I can't hear a whole lot of what people are hollering, but some of the stuff makes it through.
Oh yeah, it's you know what? That's what makes it fun. Obviously, going back to Birmingham, you kind of have mixed emotions. This year, believe it or not, was the first year I played in Roanoke.
Oh, no.
I'm not.
I was just about to say that it's my favorite place to play because of their fans, because they're absolutely outrageous.
Really?
It's and I'm going to say this term, and I hope none of the Roanoke fans get upset, but it's an absolute zoo. That's what it is. It's a zoo. You go there, it's loud. They're good, crazy fans. They love their team. They hate the opposition, and I'm telling you, like, those games, you're up for it and you're having fun because you're playing against Roanoke, but you're also playing against the fans at the same time. And it's like, oh man, it's a blast. I enjoy those games.
You got families there with their 5-year-olds, but it's the parents that are just absolutely losing it on you and screaming obscene gestures, and you're like, man, your 5-year-old is right beside you. I'd be getting smacked over the back of my head from my wife if I was yelling that.
Yeah, hey, some people are passionate. It's a family thing. They're teaching the 5-year-old, this is what you do when the dang Macon Mayhem show up to town.
Right.
I would love if, like, the SPHL could release the statistics of what rink drinks the most beers. and I understand, like, some guys or some rinks get more fans and blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, if there's a way to figure out, like, per seat who
Yeah.
drinks the most beers, because I heard words in Roanoke I didn't even ever heard of before. I was getting yelled at different. This is incredible, and I'm from Newfoundland, and we make stuff up.
That's great.
So,
that's great.
Yeah, I'd love to know that stat, because I don't.
And that's even when they're not drinking in Newfoundland.
I think is that maybe why they absorbed, really took in that whole Dirty Dogs thing last year in the playoffs and really ran with it, is they were like, yeah, we like this mentality. They took it and ran with it. The fan base did anyways.
Big time. It's it's a good spot to play, and I think you can go down the line of rinks and teams, and yeah, it's I'm telling you, so far this year that Fayetteville's good. Fayetteville was a lot of fun. Roanoke, that was a blast. So, yeah.
So you're looking forward to that next one, huh?
Always.
That's great. What about you, Cam? You got a favorite barn to play in like that?
Honestly, Roanoke is probably my number one, because I love getting into it with the fans. I've always said, like, that's what, like, gets me going. So I start, playing to that next level because you want to prove them wrong, kind of thing. But I think that's what hockey's always been, is, you see even in the NHL, fans and players going at it, kind of thing. I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, till the day I die. We will win a cup one day, but I go back to, like, Ty Domi in the box pulling that guy over, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's that fan player engagement, and I think that's what makes our sport, even football's there too, but I think it's the atmosphere that the fans create for us and that we create for them. There's no other sport like it.
No.
And I think, like Nip said, like, I mean, I've been in Roanoke plenty of times over my 5 years of playing with Macon, and that's always a rink that I love going into. Walking on the ice, you're getting whether it be stuff thrown at you or stuff yelled at you, and then coming off the ice, it's even worse, right? So you always, the best part is giving them the look and winking at them or whatever, and it just gets them going that much more. So last time we were in Roanoke, they literally had security, like, telling us, like, do not look at the fans, don't, like, engage with them, just walk off the ice. And they were having to literally, like, barrel
usher us down through.
So that's how bad it got. But I mean, that's
I was waiting for like a Michelob Ultra to come hit me in the helmet, like,
you grab it. And,
hopefully it was one that still had a little in it, maybe a full one with the
exactly.
cap on. You're like, hey, thanks.
Hey, I'm not going to tell you my secrets, all right?
When in Rome.
That's right. Game's over. You can drink after the game. You just can't drink during it.
Oh, I was thinking warm-ups.
Oh yeah. Hey, whatever works for you. Hey, you were talking about your age. You know, you got to change things up, right? With age, I've learned that as I've gotten older.
You got to lube up the joints. You know, you got to get going.
That's right. Gives you that courage you used to have whenever you were in your 20s to go out and do stupid shit, and now it just gives you the courage to go out and do your normal day-to-day stuff.
Oh yeah. Wow. Well, I haven't reached that point yet.
No. Yeah, I had to blow it up. My bad.
That's all right.
But no, that's great. That's great. So I'm gonna have to bring Roanoke's broadcaster on here again and ask him about his rowdy fan base. Mitch, he's a good dude. So
Mitch, yeah. Do you ever have any of the the announcers on?
Yeah. I've had Mitch. I've had Peoria's. I've had Joel Silverberg on a ton of times from Knoxville, and I think I had Tommy Pecoraro from Evansville on once, but those are the ones I haven't
actually. Did you have Nick Ford on last week or something?
Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah, he's a Roanoke guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a player. So and I had Travis Armstrong on last year, and so good guys. Right. He's another guy that I guess he finally decided it was time to be done. So I don't know what that's all about. I mean, you guys aren't planning on doing that anytime soon, right? So.
What is it? December 7th? I got a long ways to go so far. So.
No, but that's great. Well, hell, I've taken up a lot of you guys' time. I don't want to take up too much more of it. You got any more questions for me, Nips? I mean, you got any more for me?
I'm going to interview you.
Yeah, that's right. Next week, you're going to be the host. I'm going to be the guest. That way.
Get us on later in the year. We'll get back on, and I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about in the new year. That'd be great. When Cam has more time, I know he's got to go to bed soon. He's a dad, so he's
literally baby's in bed, put Char to sleep right before we got on here. I got to make sure I spend time with the wife for a little bit here, and then I am going.
That's right. That's the dad life right there.
Wake up and do it all over again tomorrow.
And meanwhile, Nips has to wait for a couple of drunk guys to come into his room in a couple of hours. Hey, we got practice. What time is it in the morning?
No, the boys actually just came back. So
did they? All right. See, I can't even talk.
Sushi coma.
No, they got their sushi. They got all their stuff. So we actually, as you can tell, we have our Christmas tree here.
Yeah.
Before we get on the pod, I'd like to give you a view. I can't do that. We have the whole place decorated. We're big Christmas guys, all right? Me, Tommy, CJ, love Christmas. So we had to take some time, decorate our place, make it festive. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Big Christmas guys.
We've
had our Christmas tree up since Halloween, so.
Oh, that's cheating now.
You've had your Christmas tree up since Halloween?
Buddy.
No, you can't do that.
So I lived with Carson Rose last year. We put it up, I think it was like December 1st or 2nd, whatever. We didn't take it down until we moved out of the apartments. So
that's because you love Christmas or because you're lazy?
No. You leave that thing on at night. You don't have to turn the lights on. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, mood lighting.
That's great. No. And here I'm on the other. So you said you've had yours up since October. See, I had I was very sadly taking all my Halloween decorations down. That's my I love Halloween. I think that's a great holiday, and I like putting all that scary shit in my front yard. But I wouldn't let my wife do the Christmas tree yet. I don't know. No, we gotta wait till after Thanksgiving.
It was more we were kind of just cleaning out the closet and getting rid of some stuff, and the tree was there and it was in the way. So it was one of those, let's just put it up now so we don't have to do it down the road before we're too busy and then it's in the way again.
I understand that. That goes back into that dad life stuff. We got time now.
Oh yeah.
So you have your tree up, James? What you're saying?
Oh yeah, my tree's up now.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife put it up. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I helped a lot. My wife put the tree up.
Okay, maybe we can do a segment where all the players have to show their Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna get everybody. I'm gonna get everybody to come on, and you got to do the podcast in front of your Christmas tree.
You have to. So
great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have my Christmas is kind of tainted this year, anyways, because when I bought this house about a year and a half ago, and everything goes in the attic. I've always wanted a house where I could put everything in the attic, and so I was putting. Because I'm lazy, so all the Halloween decorations and the totes, they were in the garage. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to bring Christmas stuff down and take the Halloween stuff up there, and I'll be damned if I didn't fall through my ceiling.
What is this, Christmas Vacation? Like,
Yeah, right. Right. I mean, I was, yeah, and the worst part of it is I just knew better. I knew better than what I was doing. I knew what was going to happen, and I did it anyways. It was one of those, yeah. And alcohol was not involved. It was like,
and the dad move would be you literally have to fix it. You can't go to bed till you fix that. You're running to Home Depot to get all the mud and everything and the drywall and everything.
Yeah.
You got to redo it.
I didn't pull that part off. There's still, but luckily it's in my garage. So I got a drywalled garage, and so I don't have to look at it that often.
So is it like 1 foot through or like 2 feet through and you're like hanging there, or is it what?
It's about
standing on the bunk bed.
It's about 2 foot, and yeah, it's right over. So I got a little boat in my garage, and it's right over the boat, and so that area of the garage never really gets used because the boat is more for storage. Because I have a friend with a better boat, so why use my boat?
Right.
And so I fell onto the boat upside down, and luckily the boat was there. And
wow.
So I was hanging. Yeah, it was miserable. It was.
Do you
miserable.
have like a camera like in the garage?
No,
where you can see
that's
like...
funny. My wife asked the same thing. She's like, my wife said we need to put cameras more in the house so we can catch stuff like this. I was like,
liability.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. But no, so yeah, I'm not happy about Christmas this year.
Where are you located?
Me?
Where do you live? Yeah.
I live just north of Montgomery in Alabama. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. We actually just had but did you guys get any of those tornadoes that blew through here?
That's literally you should see. I used to have a beautiful umbrella, about a $300 umbrella that like came out, bent over. You'd crank it out. Yeah. Well, guess what? We went for our wedding a few weekends ago, and I must have left the umbrella out, and a huge storm went through and came back to the thing was bent through. Every
Mary
way.
Poppins came by and you just
literally.
See you later.
Yeah. That hurts. Yeah. It's funny you say that because I have a similar one in my backyard, and I was thinking about that whenever it was like 3:00 in the morning and tornado sirens were going off, hail's hitting. I'm like, man, I hope I put that umbrella up.
That's all you ever think about, the umbrella.
Or the awning.
I'm thinking I might not ever buy another umbrella again.
No, they suck anyways. The slightest breeze will blow mine back and forth, no matter what I try.
Right.
Yeah. Jeez. Just get a sun porch cam.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I gotta get.
So I shouldn't say that too loud because your wife would probably want.
Yeah, if Ginny hears me talking, if Ginny hears us talking about a sun porch, she'll be on Google.
Yeah.
On Canadian Tire.
Canadian Tire. I wish.
Oh, that's great. That was great. All right, guys. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. I really appreciate you both coming on, and I wish you guys the best of luck the rest of the season, the whole team, and make what I said come true and sweep the weekend for me. So
you said 3-2 and then win by 3, right?
Yeah, win by 3. I don't care how. I'm not going to put a number on that one. So that's what you got. So last time I had Nippard on here, he went and scored 2 goals. I think you scored right after. So I mean, I'm just saying.
I lit up.
You did. I remember getting the message from you after the game saying we got to do the podcast again. You scored a goal. I do remember that.
So I mean, it's so maybe it'll go in that direction again this time.
Hey, I won't. Yeah.
Lips is on a heater. If he scores again, let's keep it going.
There we go.
One's a fluke, two's a streak.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
But all right, guys. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks again for coming on. You guys have a good one. We'll do it again later on this year.
Thanks, James.
All right, there you have it. 2 of Macon's finest, David Nippard and Caleb Cameron. Those great guys. I'm glad I was able to bring them both on at the same time. I've been thinking about bringing one or the other on because, they were great interviews last year. And you guys seemed fans across the board seemed to enjoy it. And so it was nice to be able to bring them both on. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed that every bit as much as I did. Like I said, this is a little bit of a later podcast in the week. And it's just nothing to worry about. I'm just keeping you guys on your toes. But we've already had a game this week, technically. On Tuesday night, Huntsville faced Evansville and shut them out 3-0. So that already got this week's games going, but there's still a full slate of games, and you got my prediction on Macon's games already. So now everybody can either make me eat crow, or I can say I told you so. We'll see how that goes out. But like they said, Caleb Cameron was saying earlier, that there's the league's a lot closer this year, and it really is. I mean, when you look at the standings, I don't want to beat a dead horse since we're so late in the week on last week's games. I don't want to beat it. I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the teams. And I mean, when you look at the standings, I mean, the 8th place Pensacola Ice Flyers are sitting at 16 points. They're 2 points out of 5th place, 3 points out of 4th place. And I mean, that's how close everything is. Evansville's got 24 points sitting in 1st place, but they've played 19 games. Next closest team is the Ice Flyers, who've played 16 games. So I'm not saying that's why they're in the lead. They've been playing very well. They're a very, very good home team. They've only lost once at home so far this year. They're a great team. They've struggled a little on the road, but they've picked that road play up. So they're deserving in 1st place, but I don't know. I guess I just feel like as a stat type thing, you got to throw in there that they are they have played a few more games than everybody else so far, but they're holding a 3-point lead over Peoria, who Peoria has played some of the more impressive games this year, the way that I look at it. I mean, how many times has Peoria been behind and then they just come back and they end up winning the game? I mean, that's happened multiple times this year. And I mean, they're a team that won't go away. They don't care. They can be down by 2. They can be down by 3. They're going to come back, and they're going to play a full 60 minutes. And they're truly, truly showing us what a championship team does to defend their title. They're not fading away. They're not doing anything. They're getting some pieces back too that they had last year. Godbout's back, and that's huge for them. That was the rookie of the year last year in the SPHL. That is a huge, huge addition to that roster this year. And they're playing really well. Another team that's playing really well is the team that faced Peoria in the finals last year, and they're 3rd in the standings is Roanoke. Roanoke they won't go away. They are a team that they're resilient. They're gonna get you. They're gonna punch you in the mouth. And apparently they have some of the rowdiest fans in the league. And I know we were laughing and joking about that a little while ago, but I mean that's I don't feel that neither one of those guys were saying that it's a bad thing. They were talking about how great it is that fan base is that passionate. And I mean, kudos to you guys. You guys have left an impression on opposing players. So if you were ever wondering, now you have your proof. Yeah, you guys are you guys do leave an impression. You guys are making a difference up there in the stands. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily understand. I know fans love to cheer and everything for the teams and get loud and rowdy, but I don't know that a lot of fans actually understand that really does make a difference to these players. I mean, it develops, it pumps them up one side or the other. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, maybe with the way that those two were talking about getting pumped up isn't exactly what you were going for as a Roanoke fan, but you're leaving an impression. And I mean, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. And that happens in all sports. And like I said, kudos to you guys for leaving an impression right there, and your team leaving an impression too. I mean, the Rail Yard Dogs are looking really good. They're only 1 point behind Peoria, showing you how close everything is. They got 20 points. There's a couple of teams that are 9-4-1, but one of the teams doesn't have that extra one in the shootout loss. And that's Roanoke, because Birmingham's next up and with 19 points. So, I mean, you got so close. I mean, if you look at the standings after Friday night, they're going to change. And if you look at them again on Saturday night, they're going to change. And by Sunday, they're going to change again. I mean, there's just that's how much fluctuation there is in this league. And I mean, I think if I remember right, at one point, it was maybe last weekend or the weekend before, I looked up, Birmingham was second in the standings. By the end of the weekend, they were down at 4th, which I think that may have been last weekend. If I was better at my job, I'd know that for certain. But Birmingham's another team. They're looking good. This isn't the team that you've witnessed play in Birmingham the last 2 years. This is a good team. They've got a very, very, very talented top line, and they're really I mean, they can run 3 lines, and they're looking good. They probably need to they may need to help a little more on the back end, leaving some goaltenders out to hang. But when you're a high scoring team like that, you take chances. And I guess that's kind of the way that I look at that. Huntsville is another team. They're 5th. They are 1 point behind Birmingham. So we got Huntsville has 18 points. The Rivermen have 21. And I mean, that's the separation between 5th and 2nd. I can't stress it enough, I guess. But Huntsville's looking good. They struggled in a couple of games, but they're always keeping games close, and then shutting out the top team in the league is always impressive. When the way that they handled Evansville, this past week. Next down the list, we'll look in 6th place, the Quad City Storm. I mean, you heard it from David Nippard that they're a wagon. I mean, and this team isn't much changed from last year. You see a lot of the same players and a lot of the same, and the production is coming the same from all these players. It's a very good squad. The fact that they just kind of get stuck playing the same team over and over again, it's a minor professional hockey problem. It's not their fault that they're playing Peoria and Vermilion County more than everybody else. But they're a very solid team. They're sitting at 9-6 right now, and they're just, like I said, they're a very solid team. Next up is Knoxville. Knoxville's been up and down this year. Knoxville was up more towards the top. They were looking like they were just absolutely a wagon out there, but they've kind of fallen off a little bit, but not too much. Still really good. 18 points again for Knoxville. You know, they're sitting at 8-5. They've had 2 shootout losses. This team does not want to go to the shootout, is what I've learned. But I don't know how. I mean, you got guys like Justin McDonald who's going out there scoring goals all the time, like crazy. I don't know. I guess it's just the shootout just doesn't translate for a lot of that. But I don't know. A lot of people have mixed emotions on the shootout. I'll give you my take, whether you want it or not. I think it's good, because I think it's absolutely asinine for a professional sports team to have a tie. It drives me crazy every time I see it. I think the NFL just had one this past weekend, and it's absolutely insane to me. And I'm really glad that the tie doesn't exist in professional hockey anymore. You got to figure something out. I really like the 3-on-3 overtime period too. I mean, that brings a lot of excitement, and more times than not, it gets figured out. Then the shootout, yeah, it's a skills competition. I hear everybody say it, but it's better than ending in a tie. There's got to be a winner. It's professional sports. There's got to be a winner. So that's my take. That's my rant. I just went off on there, but we'll drop down to 8th in the standings. You got Pensacola. Pensacola has been an up and down team. They played very, very well against Birmingham this last weekend. They came out and they were up 3-0 right off the bat. Took advantage of some early penalties, a very, very quick. I think 16 seconds in, there was a penalty against the Bulls, and it ended up being a major. So they were able to get a couple of goals out of it, and then they scored another one, and they were rolling. The Bulls ended up tying that one back up, but ultimately Pensacola got a hold of that one in overtime. And to be honest with you, I feel like Pensacola deserved that win. They played a lot harder, and that's the team Pensacola is. They have the ability to become explosive at any given moment, and they're just another team right now. They're sitting in that final playoff spot, but we're 16 games in for them. I mean, it's silly to say final playoff spot this early in the season, but that's where they're at. And I know that's the best way to say it, but I look for them to make some strides and start shocking some people. I feel like Pensacola might be one of the teams that doesn't get a lot of recognition in the league. And I don't know, maybe it's because they're so far south and a lot of the teams up north don't get to see them, or I don't know. It just seems like that team doesn't get a lot of recognition in this league. And hell, it was a couple of years ago they were the champs. So I know the fan base gives them all the recognition in the world. But just outside of the Pensacola area, I feel like that team gets ignored a lot, and they're not a team to ignore. They're not at all. Next up is 9th, Fayetteville Marksmen. Kind of a shocker seeing them down there. Fayetteville's consistently throughout the years been one of the top teams these past few years anyways. This year they just can't get it figured out. They dropped a couple games against the Rail Yard Dog, or this last weekend, including one against the Rail Yard Dogs. They're sitting at 7-8. They got 16 points as well. They've played 17 games, so I lied to you earlier when I said that 16 was the closest to what Evansville's played. But they've lost 2 in overtime. they're a hit or miss team. It really they're a hit or miss team. It just they seem like there's something missing. They're not in sync. Maybe is the best way from what I've seen from them, but they still have a lot of the talent on their roster, and I look for them to turn things around too, and not be a below 500 team. Macon, we'll talk about them. We've kind of talked about them this whole podcast, obviously, but I led off the podcast saying I think Macon is genuinely in a lot of these games, and they beat themselves out of them. That doesn't take away from the other teams that are beating them, but it just I think the mistakes they're making for themselves, whether it be penalty mistakes, missed passes, or missed assignments, just little things here and there, and maybe they're all happening in one game, or maybe they're just happening at the wrong time. And I mean, they're just they're a team that they're starting to find their way. They look better. They're looking better as the season goes along. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were last year. I'm still, I don't know. I'm still kind of torn on if I think they're going to end up being a playoff team. I think I need to see a little more from them before I start saying, yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs. And that's no disrespect to the team by any means. It's just got to see a little more of these coaching changes we've seen. Teams with new coaches don't generally take off right off the bat. Knoxville is showing you guys this, that are showing everybody that that's probably not the case. But you got to look at it this way too. Knoxville was at the top of the standings most of last year, and now they're sitting towards the bottom. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they're struggling too. Probably not. But we weren't talking about Knoxville. We were talking about Macon. But yeah. And then the last place team in the league is the Bobcats, who, as last week, it was announced that they moved on from TJ Sarcona, and they have a new head coach, and it's tough. It's really tough for an organization to make that call again. After like I said, they had a coach that never really made it to the team before their inaugural season, and then they had Nick Niedert was there. They had David Ayers coaching a couple of games, and they had Sarcona. So, I mean, I don't know if you technically consider David Ayers a coach, but because it was 4 games, but I feel like that is. So I say 5 coaches. That's tough. That's tough for the guys. That's tough on the coaches. That's tough on the whole organization. And you just kind of mix that in with some of the situation they've been having with their arena this year, and it's. I'm happy to see they're putting a product on the ice every week, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a lot going on out there, and they right now they're on an 8-game skid. Not too good, but they did start their winning earlier than last year, so that's a positive note. They were looking good. They've looked good in a lot of games, to be honest with you. I mean, they've been in it. They've gotten the first goals. They've been up by a couple of goals. It's just, I think cliche here, a full 60 minutes is something they need to look to play, and maybe they need to, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. They were 13 or 14 games into the season. They had a coaching change. So new system, you have to imagine, and all that. So there's going to be some growing pains there. Hopefully this sticks, and this team can kind of get things turned around, because I mean, right now the bottom 2 teams in the league, are 6 and 5 points. Everybody else is 16 points or above. So 10th place Macon is already 10 points behind. 9th place / kind of tied for 8th place, Pensacola and Fayetteville. And so hopefully they can get things turned around. And if any Bobcat fans are on here listening, I need you guys to fill that barn up. I need you guys to go out there to those games. It's somewhat depressing whenever I turn that on, when I turn hockey TV on, and I don't see a lot of people in the seats there. I mean, it's the SPHL. They're not expensive tickets. I mean, I maybe go out this weekend. I'm not telling you go every week. I don't know everybody's situation, if they can afford tickets, and it's none of my dang business. I can't afford to pay for going for season tickets, so I understand. I'm not trying to go there, but I'm just saying, go out there. Stop thinking about it. I know you got a hockey team out there because you're listening to this podcast, so there's a team there. Just stop saying, I'll get them next week. I'll get them next week. Go out there. I mean, you get more people in the seats, and the team's going to recognize it. Goes back to me saying, it does matter. The fans do bring a certain atmosphere, a certain something to the teams, and I don't know, 400 or 500 fans. I mean, that's a small barn, just like the Civic Complex in Pelham is. It's smaller, so it can get loud with more people, and you don't have to seat 10,000 people. You can seat 1,000 people, and it's going to be just as loud as it would be if you go to Madison Square Garden and it's sold out. I mean, it's a smaller space, so I don't know the science behind it, but sound is loud. In a small place like that. Yeah, you can quote me at that. Sound is loud. That is the that might be the dumbest thing I've ever said on here. But hey, you get what you pay for, right? And that's me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me take a quick look. You kind of already talked about some of the games coming this week. Let me do another little rundown here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't know. Quad City Knoxville seems like a good game to me. I know we were talking the middle of the middle of the standings, but that's going to be a good game between them in Quad City and Moline. And then you got Pensacola and Birmingham. It's a rematch of that game I referenced a little while back. Macon, Fayetteville. Two teams that are kind of struggling right now. Let's see what can happen. Macon's got that home stand over the weekend. Peoria, Huntsville. That should be a good one. What else do we got on here? We got Roanoke. Roanoke fans, you guys are going to give the Bulls some hell this weekend. I see that. So don't hold back. Be you. I love hearing it. I'm going to start asking every player I bring on about playing in Roanoke because I like to hear that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it for the week. Like I said, the season is good. The season is fun. It's entertaining. It's close knit. Every game seems to be exciting. Every game has a little bit of its own controversy. I mean, we had a goalie fight between Knoxville and Roanoke, and I mean, it's just we're getting it. We're getting a little bit of everything in these games. This last Tuesday night in the Huntsville game, I don't remember who it was from Evansville. No, it was Hobbs. Matthew Hobbs and Procopio got into a very spirited bout. I wish the cameras were a little better there in Huntsville. Could have got a better view, but I've been looking on the fan pages to see if a cell phone video of that fight's out there somewhere, because the view from the arena wasn't as good as it. I don't feel like it did it any justice for those that love a good hockey bout out there. But yeah, I'm done. I'm not going to keep talking anymore. I'm not going to keep talking. So thank you for listening. Like I always tell you guys, make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, you like the video, you subscribe to our page, check out our other podcasts we got going on. If you're just listening, thanks for listening. Make sure you give us reviews. Go to fieldpasshockey.com. Check out everything we got. Like I tell you, it's we got SPHL all the way up to the AHL. Great coverage and tons of markets across the board. Just give us go out there and give us a listen. You'll find that we are your premier source for minor pro hockey. And with that, I will leave you guys until next time.
You've been listening to the Inside the SPHL podcast. Got a topic you'd like discussed? Follow James on Twitter @FPHBulls. For the latest news on the SPHL and the rest of minor league hockey, download the Field Pass Hockey app, now available in the Apple and Android app stores.